The Ravens can become kings of the North again this week on Saturday. So much more on this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. Yes, welcome back to episode 288 of the Purple Rain Podcast. The Des Bryant episode you were just talking about him earlier, Sutton. The Ty Montgomery, the Dennis Pitta, the Vince Mayo, and most recently the Charlie Collar episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. A lot of names in there that take me back to when I was in high school. Some darker times, not the best times. But thank you all for coming through to this episode 288 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. This is our last episode of 2024.
Yes.
So there's a lot to kind of unpack here before we get into the new year. But you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy right here on Instagram or on X at Sutton Death. Follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod or on X at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Go on there, go online, use code PRP for 20% off your whole order, and free international shipping. It is the best deal on the internet. Something I gotta ask you, how was your weekend? No Ravens football. We got took care of business. So a chill, carefree weekend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it felt good to kind of sit back, relax. I'm doing well, first and foremost. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And yesterday it was really nice to sit back, relax, and just watch a day of stress-free football. Yes, just kind of see how the whole playoff race was going to shake out. So many stories, so many different scenarios, even still to this day. And we're going to get into those scenarios a little bit later too on the show. So you stick around, like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. But listen, man, a couple of little nuggets I took away from yesterday. Josh Allen had himself a day against the Jets as expected. He got pulled in the fourth quarter. They've locked up 2 seed. He's probably not going to play in week 18. So, we'll talk about newest remnants of the MVP race stuff, a little bit later. Also, I want to start with your good buddy Aaron Rodgers, right? As you're sipping your water over there. Your guy Aaron Rodgers, who you love so much, man. And I'm being sarcastic and facetious here, but I can't imagine him if I were him, right? I can't imagine him after that drubbing that they took yesterday to the Bills. Just absolutely just destroyed. He couldn't do anything. He actually asked to get taken out of the game. He said, "Hey, look, at what point do we throw in Tyrod Taylor and just give him a chance?" Right? Tyrod Taylor goes in and immediately scores. It's just like, this is a rough ending to a beautiful career, or what was a beautiful career for Aaron Rodgers. And I just want to get your take first and foremost on what you think he should do and just your current assessment of him, the player.
Leave the football before the football leaves you. And the football has left Aaron Rodgers. It's a typical Jets thing. Let's be real. The Browns have won a playoff game more recently than the Jets. Like, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm looking at us like, wow, like looking at top. They're looking at Woody Johnson already. Like, this guy's got to go, and as they should. I think they have way too much talent. I think they just made the wrong choices on a lot of decisions, and it's they deserve to be where they're at. So I don't feel bad for them at all. That's what happens when you overpay a quarterback who is out of their prime and no longer good, i.e. the Atlanta Falcons, which obviously they benched Kirk Cousins, and it's teams that really haven't had a quarterback in a certain amount of time that just kind of like overpay one, and you're left with this. So I'm grateful as a Ravens fan. We have not done that. Don't have to do that because we have our franchise quarterback. But like the Jets, the Browns, Falcons, we see them do it. It's not a good look, and it more times than not doesn't work out for you. So even the Raiders, when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo, thinking he was going to help them out.
Yeah, it's just doesn't seem like it's panning out for them. I saw a tweet yesterday where it was like literally the highlight, like the climax of Aaron Rodgers' tenure in New York with the Jets was. I think it was the beginning of last season where he was running the flow out to the middle of the field on prime time, and he daps up Sauce Gardner like, yeah, let's lock in, let's do this. And, ever since then, of course, he got hurt 4 days after that. And then the next season comes around, doesn't really do much at all. it's just I don't know. I really love what you said. Like, leave the football before the football leaves you. Like that makes so much sense to me because you know, it's like that old saying, like you're a hero. All heroes, if you stick around long enough, you see yourself become the villain, that sort of thing, right? It's just let it go. Let it go. I know Aaron Rodgers has way more interest right now at this specific time in his life. Oh, the guy did Jeopardy for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like, go off, do something else, be a celeb, whatever, and ride off into the sunset with your one Super Bowl ring, which is nothing to scoff at, right? And then he's got multiple MVPs. He had a very great, you know, fruit career, and it's just I don't want to say it's sad necessarily, just because the type of guy that Aaron Rodgers is, he can be a little cocky, you know what I mean, a little full of himself at times. So it might be his comeuppance, right, that this is happening. But I don't know. If I'm the Jets, I don't know how much more I'm going to be investing into the Aaron Rodgers experiment, just simply because, like, is this your really future, right? I don't think so. Yeah.
I hope he stays for the sheer fact of there was rumblings that Garrett Wilson might want out if he stays. So, I have crazy dreams. I doubt they'd trade Garrett Wilson, but I kind of hope he stays for that point, just for the drama aspect. And I doubt the Rams would, go after him, but I would love to see Garrett Wilson in purple and black. And he still has 2 years left on that deal. But I doubt it would happen. It's just me being delusional. It's the right word to put it.
Just being a good elf analyst. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Roosh has it here.
So
get ready to learn crab cakes.
Yeah, what do you say?
Garrett Wilson, get ready to learn how to crack crabs. There you go. Learn that.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest with you. 76 people watching live, 77 that is watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for coming through this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on X, make sure you give me a follow on X. Make sure you give Simply As 10 a follow on X as well. Maybe then hop over onto YouTube and give us a like and subscribe over there. I mean, I have to, but if you want to, we'd appreciate it. Okay. Of course, again, we always have the super chat donations down below as well, and we have memberships now. You can join ERP officially, like the official Rain Gang. You can join with a membership, so make sure you take a look at those as well. But listen, you brought up something about I think you brought up you might have brought up the Falcons. Yeah, you brought up the Falcons. Mm-hmm. They just played football last night against the Washington Commanders, and I don't know if you watched that game, but I did, and I was watching Jayden Daniels very, very closely. You know what I mean? Just to kind of see what the hype was about. I know that the NFL, I can't remember if that game was flexed or not. I wonder if it was flexed Sunday Night Football. Might not have been, but I think it was though. So yeah, I think that the reason that the NFL did that was so they can, the world can kind of see Jayden Daniels and this new Commanders team before the playoffs, right? And they went out there and they went kind of toe-to-toe with the Falcons. The Falcons have been kind of up and down all season, very kind of average record. But I like what I saw from Jayden Daniels. I also want to say I like what I saw from Michael Penix, being a guy who's literally only getting his second start. He's very, very green, very, very new to this NFL game speed. You can definitely tell that for sure. He does not have all the throws down pat yet. You know what I mean? He does not have all the coverages down pat either. But I did like what I saw from him, especially down the stretch of that game. Fitting in a nice touchdown to Kyle Pitts on 4th and whatever it was for the game, just to tie it. And that was really cool to see. And then it goes into overtime. Jayden Daniels kind of does the thing, runs around a little bit, picks up a few first downs, throws a touchdown for the win. I like Jayden Daniels. I do. And I think that I don't want to say he's like the second coming of Lamar or anything like that, because I do believe Lamar Jackson is indeed one of one. But this kid, Jayden Daniels, him and Bo Nix, because I saw him play the other day too. I don't think we've talked since Nix last played, and both of those young QBs look good. I think both of those guys are next. But what did you think of those two young guys?
Yeah, I watched the first half of the game yesterday, and I went to bed like Bijan had, I think, like 60 yards rushing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like keep feeding Bijan the ball. He was having his way. Woke up, he had like 93. I was like, what happened? I haven't been able to catch second half highlights, but I saw it was a really good game and I missed it. Unfortunately, I will tell you this though, FedEx Field for a primetime game, it looks nice. It does. The fans are really into it. They do deserve it. I'm not gonna lie, those fans deserve, a bit of happiness after all the years of Dan Snyder, and that's really the less said the better. But I'm happy for them, and I think it was flex because they thought it was like Kirk Cousins returning to Washington, but instead you get Michael Penix against Jaden Daniels. But man, I would love to see what Penix would have been like, maybe, starting the whole year, because I thought he looked pretty good. Like you said, in the second start, obviously he had that one play, the interception on the first drive, just miscommunication. But man, he was, feeding the ball around, which I like to see. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, real deal. And I'm looking forward to see how they do in the playoffs. I don't think them getting the Rams is the best matchup for them if it were to be 3 versus 6, because I do like Stafford and those weapons against that defense.
Yeah.
And if push came to shove, if you give Stafford the ball last, I think he will drive down that defense with, Kupp and Puka and those guys. How even Demarcus Robinson making plays for them. But as of right now, it's good to, to see them back in the playoffs. And it's good for DC in that area. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Definitely happy for them as well. I mean, I've always said the Commanders have been like my second team. My dad is actually a Commanders fan, longtime Commanders fan. And I always hated to see them do bad. But now that they finally kind of seem to kind of right the ship, it hasn't really felt this way since like the early RG3 days. You know what I mean? Like pre-awkward. But yeah, I mean, hope in the city is good. It's a net positive. I like it. We do have our first super chat donation of the night coming in from D-Was. What's going on, D-Was? Appreciate you coming through. As always, man, dropping the 2-piece in the chat. Says, Alex, you need to bring the voodoo magic to the wild card game, man. Are you going to the wild card game? If we get a home, playoff, are you gonna go?
I've thought about it. I'm just I'm scared, to say the least. I would hate to see the unthinkable happen round 1. It's just, football, it's like, one bad game. Unlike, baseball, basketball, one bad game and your season's over. You can have a freaking awful first game in basketball, baseball, and whatever, you got a chance to turn around. But football, you can have maybe one average quarter and you might be behind and you can't come back. So I'm definitely thinking about going. Just depends, how we're feeling around that time. So I'll keep you up to date, D-Was. You'll be the first one to know.
Okay. I mean, me personally, I would love to see you there, and personally you, because you've got this crazy voodoo magic streak, and this is what D-Was is referring to here. If you don't know, if you haven't been listening to the Purple podcast for a long time, Alex has a record, right? I believe it is 14-0, undefeated. I want to say it is, when attending Ravens games. The Ravens do not lose when Alex is in attendance. So, if you're like me, you would like Alex to show up to that game, just like he'll be at the game this week. I mean, make a thumbs up in the chat, whether you're watching on X, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Instagram, right? Wherever you might be watching, right? Drop a thumbs up in the chat if you want to see Alex because I want to see him there. Hell, I mean, we can raise some money.
Oh my gosh!
Let's start a pot. And get this guy to the games, man. I don't care. We got to get him to every game, all the way up to Super Bowl. Let's do it, man. I mean, I'll put that voodoo magic. That's our voodoo magic, right? Not Andy Reid, not Mike Tomlin. It's simply AS10 here.
It's some random fan. I'll take it. But yeah, I'll try to go just for you, D-Was.
Yeah. But thank you so much, D-Was, for the super chat donation. We appreciate it as always. Roosh, what's going on, Mod Roosh? Like the video. Absolutely. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give it a thumbs up. We're gonna get into some Ravens talk real soon here. Let me see. We got the thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, you gotta go. Man. Come on. I mean, it just is what it is. D-Was says make it happen. Yeah. All right, so let's start off with a little jokey joke here, right? I told you about this before we went live. This is something that just news kind of came out a couple of hours ago. It was Ari Meirov, my sports update on NFL, has been doing a really good job over the past couple of years covering the league. Let's go ahead and pull this up on screen here.
Yeah,
Diontae Johnson is back in the news once again. For everybody watching now, Diontae Johnson is back in the news, and today he was asked about his experience with Houston so far. And he says, quote, "Team first. Everybody is about the team. I'm about the team too. So I'm doing whatever the coach is asking me to do," end quote. And again, like I said, I just wanted to start that little joke here because that's what it sounds like to me. When you see a quote like that from a guy who literally refused to come in the game for our Ravens, right? Who are in a better spot as it stands right now than the Houston Texans, right? We're getting ready. If we win, we can lock the 3 seed in the AFC, right? We're clearly the better team. Will probably end up going further, knock on wood, right? Than the Houston Texans. So it's just kind of funny to me to see Deontay Johnson say something like this about the Houston Texans when it's basically the antithesis of what he was experiencing in Baltimore, according to him. But Alex, what was your assessment of this?
I'm right there with you. I think it's hilarious. I mean, you're frozen feet and taking your jersey off mid game from being Antonio Brown Jr. at this point. To me, wherever you go, you're a headache. And now we're acting like AB didn't do the same thing whenever he went to a different team, or the Raiders, the Buccaneers. Like he would always say the right thing and then just completely do the opposite of it. The one thing though that kind of is saving him for me is there's that video after we absolutely whooped the Texans, Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay, all those guys were, really close with Deontay, like dapping him up. So I'm leading me to believe it's, more coaching stuff, which either way, like if you're about the team, you go in when your number is called. But that's just kind of, the less of the better about Deontay. But this is a very funny quote. And I think he knows what he was doing here. He knows.
Yeah, definitely knew exactly what he was doing here. You can't convince me otherwise. All right, I just want to pull that really quick. We have a question here from RJ. What's going on, RJ? Appreciate you for coming through. As always, man. Always supporting us. Says, fellas, y'all peeping the mouthpiece drip with different colors Lamar, Zay, and Isaiah are doing. Yeah, I mean, I think this has been a thing pretty much all season, and it kind of started with Nate Wiggins. I want to say it was kind of coming out there with the two mouthpieces. They'd be different colors, mismatching colors, and things like that. And then Lamar Jackson, there was remnants of he doing it according to the colors of the opponent that they're playing on that week. So, and I can't quite remember what color mouthpiece Lamar Jackson wore on Christmas. I can't remember. Do you remember?
I think it may have been navy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure, like navy. It looked black to me. I'm pretty sure, but even navy.
Yeah. Let me see here. I do like the drip. I saw RJ said something earlier about he thought Bateman would get in on that too because like he's a fashion guy and he might be wanting to do that. But just haven't seen it. But I like the camaraderie at the end of the day. I like guys kind of getting together and say, hey, like, let's do this. The vibes are high. That's what it says. It says the vibes are high. The appeal of the fourth says Sutton reacts to Hard Knocks episode 4 win. So the only reason I didn't put out a Hard Knocks episode 4 reaction video is because it was relevant just so quickly. Because it came out on Tuesday and we played Wednesday, Christmas, and everything after was kind of irrelevant. So there's gonna be another episode tomorrow where everything's gonna be caught up to, and I'll do a reaction on that, the appeal. But thank you for calling me out on that. I appreciate that. Cal. Mom Cal is in the building. What's going on? Cal says she has to go jump and go teach again, but y'all have a good week. You have a good week as well,
Thank
Cal.
you for coming through.
But do not have a good night. Do not have a good night, Cal, because guess what? I'm playing Cal in multiple fantasy leagues this week. One of my leagues is a fantasy Super Bowl, and it comes down to tonight's matchup. Yes, it's her and I, mano y mano, however you want to put it. Tonight, let me actually go ahead and pull this up just so you can know just how close this matchup is, because she's got a couple of players playing tonight. I think it is let me see, bear with me here for just 1 second. Matchup fantasy Super Bowl, it's looking, I'm projected to win, so it's dead even right now, 147 to 147, right? Going into tonight's matchup, I've got Brock Purdy left, and I've also got Jahmyr Gibbs. She's got Jared Goff, and that's it. So if your guy Goff, if he goes out there and he throws 3, 4, 5 touchdowns and he wants to drop his hat back in the MVP race all of a sudden, I might lose this matchup, especially if Brock Purdy has a stinker, throws a bunch of interceptions. It's possible. So it's looking like I'll probably win, but you can't out just yet because Jared Goff could always make some noise just out of nowhere, right? I mean, that's the ultimate Jared goofball thing to do, So yeah, but shout out to Kel. We appreciate you. Mod Boz is in the house as Rain Gang. What's going on, Mod Boz?
What's going
on? Vibes are very high for Steelers fans right now.
Can we bring up a comment real quick from Spencer? He says, did you boys see Dan on First Take said Bateman and Flowers are a better duo than Chase and Higgins, so Burrow is doing more with less. The Jackson fatigue is real. Spencer, I recall the same ESPN analysis, Ryan Clark's, week 2 after we beat the Raiders, that Bateman and Flowers weren't good enough. That Lamar couldn't win with them. And now they're better than Chase and Higgins. I don't get it. Listen. I think we are the biggest Bateman fans, big Flowers fans. And to say this and mean it, love him. But come on now. Chase right now to me, top 2 receiver in the league. It's Jamar and Justin, wherever you want to put them. I'm not going to argue with you because you make cases for both. Higgins to me, the way he's played the past 5-6 weeks, unreal. And to say that, Dan, your CTE is acting up.
Dan. See, here's my thing about Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. At this specific time, he actually apologized this morning, by the way. He said that, I apologize for saying the MVP race was over a couple of weeks ago. That's my fault. Whatever. I think he's stumbling right now. I think he's panicking just a little bit because he knows he's been wrong and he's backtracking. He's backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling until he goes out of bounds, right? For the safety.
Oh,
that's kind of like the history, the legend of Dan Orlovsky, right? So, I just think when it comes to him and a lot of the other guys in the national media, they face so much scrutiny, way more scrutiny than guys like you and I would face, based off of our opinions and takes and stuff like that. So I feel like with him, he feels like he constantly has to come up with the next best thing to say. And I don't know if this was it. Actually, I know for a fact that this was not it. Because like you said, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, listen, no shade to Bateman and Z because, we love those boys over here at the Purple Rain podcast, right? Love them. But they don't compare to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in that duo. That's one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the National Football League right now. So it just makes zero sense for him to say this. And I know he's going to have to die on his Josh Allen deserves MVP hill because he already kind of dug that grave for himself at this point. But again, this is just another installment of your guy, Dan Orlovsky, backpedaling, backtracking, trying to find different ways around. And he stepped out of bounds on this one for sure.
Oh, yeah, big time. And that's crazy to even say. And just even watching the games yesterday, hearing some of the talk. And then when you put the stats, and I don't want to get into this again, but you put the stats next to each other, one quarterback has better stats all around, except turnovers, which it's not interceptions, it's fumbles. And you know what? I'll take that, but it's not 18 interceptions like somebody had last year. All right. And then, what Tony Romo said, I know you know what I'm talking about, but he said, people are going to pick Allen because, Lamar has 2. You're not getting a participation trophy just because you went out there and played good. That's not how it is. I thought we were done with all that. You're a loser. Be better. Like that's really all. I hate that. The sympathy award. To me, it feels like literally the election all over again. Like there's literally propaganda and lies everywhere over a MVP. Over a freaking MVP line. With that being said, don't really care. We'll see you in February. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of backtracking going on all around the league.
Whole lot of backtracking, man. And again, when it comes to the whole MVP talks and everything like that, everybody's already kind of played their flag of Josh Allen deserves it for X, Y, and Z reasons. They're not going to move off of it. So us as Ravens fans, we should probably move off of it. And it's so hard to do. Trust me, I know it's so hard to do because we want Lamar Jackson to get that third MVP. We want him to have that kind of, ring. It just not ring, just kind of notch on his belt sort of thing. You know what I mean? Because when it's all said and done, it's going to be about, okay, how many MVPs, how many rings, how many, pass yards, all that stuff. How many records did you break? All that. And it would just be a shame to see that Lamar Jackson's best statistical season ever, right? It was kind of stolen away from him because of narratives, because of politics, because of context that's been added this year. Of just voter fatigue, things like that. It would be a shame. But listen, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the current health report, right? The current health report of the Baltimore Ravens going into this Week 18 final game of the season, guys. We got to savor each and every game. Let me just say that. We got to savor each and every game, each and every down, everything. Because the time where there's no more football is right around the corner. Okay. January starts in just a couple of days here. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, I believe. And pretty much a month, right? we've got pretty much a month in 10 days until we're back with football. And we're looking at it to the draft and all that good stuff. So make sure you savor it. Make sure you enjoy it while it is here. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the health report, though, for today. This is going to be pulled up on the screen from Jeff Zrebiec. Jeff Zrebiec giving the report on who practiced, who didn't. Nelson Agholor, who had a concussion, and Charlie Kolar were back at practice today. Good news, good news. Charlie Kolar getting back in the fold here. And, of course, Nelson Agholor going down with that concussion. He's back now, too. Who he didn't see out there practicing was Jalen Armour-Davis, who really has been a non-factor for the majority of the season with a hamstring. Rasheen Ali with a hip out, and Justice Hill with a concussion. He was out as well today. And then also you had Patrick Mekari and Ronnie Stanley, who were also not practicing today. But there is some context here. Some context, because Harbaugh came out and said that Mekari and Ronnie Stanley, they were dealing with some flu-like symptoms, so they should be practicing tomorrow. It's no physical I words. That should be good to go, ready to play. He also mentioned that Justice Hill is going to be ready to go, ready to play on Saturday as well. So that's another good sign there from Hart. What else were you seeing? What else did you look at here from this I-word report? Alex, take it away.
I'm happy we got Charlie Kolar back. I didn't think I'd be saying this, in August that this cool guy with his long hair and just his weird personality is back. But I'm happy, like Roosh says here, the run game, like we're getting back a crucial part of our run blocking, like we're getting not to, compare him, like our Nick Boyle back in the tight end room. The guy who can go out there and make a couple clutch catches that you're going to forget about, is kind of a red zone threat. He has a couple of touchdowns this year. People forget about number 88. And a guy who can just kind of, take your manhood away from you in blocking. So I'm happy about that. I saw he said Justice Hill should be good for Saturday. That's big. And then obviously Mekari and Stan, like you said, battling the flu, like they'll be good. And Boston's here, Light Bill and Kolar anytime touchdown. That would be something. That would be that's paying Light Bill for a couple months, but I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see number 88 back on the field. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And now that you mention it, to be honest with you, I could totally see a Charlie touchdown in this one. Just imagine we go out there and, 3 quarters, we're beating up on the Browns, take out a lot of our starters, but Kolar stays in there. And Josh Johnson throws one up to him in the red zone, and he comes down with it. I could see it, man. I'm just saying. I don't know what the odds are right now on that. I don't even know if the lines are up, to be honest with you. He said, I'm checking. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if the lines will be up yet for something like that. A deep player like Charlie Kolar. Let me know. Okay. Maybe we'll check back again on Thursday. We'll see. But I'm guessing early, maybe anywhere between plus 1,800 to plus 2,400 is what I'm guessing would be his anytime touchdown line. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Put it
hopefully,
in the context.
Yeah.
I saw. I was checking. James Prochet was plus 3,400 yesterday for the Browns. I was just checking on an old friend, and I'm like, okay, plus 1,800 for our third string tight end. That sounds about right. I think that's a good line set.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we have some more things to get into here. This one is from one John Harbaugh, right? Talking about the status team and basically how important it is for this team to go ahead and lock up the 3rd seed in the AFC North. So as you guys know, or if you don't know, go ahead and let you know right now. Ravens have a chance to go ahead and clinch the AFC North title and the 3 seed one of 2 ways, right? They can either win or tie against the Cleveland Browns, or they need Pittsburgh to lose to Cincinnati or tie against Cincinnati. Either one of those things happen, and the Ravens will win the AFC North title and have 3 seed locked down. So that is kind of like the scenario right now for the Ravens. Now, I want to go ahead and show a clip here from John when he was talking about kind of the importance of the Ravens lock up that 3 seed and winning the division. So let's go ahead and pull that up here.
Very significant. I mean, it's definitely a goal. It's one of our 5 main goals is to win the division from a team perspective, and it's a big deal. It's a tough division. We respect the teams tremendously. I think you saw the games this last weekend. You saw the Bengals. They're still in it. It tells you a lot about the character of the teams in this division. So we know we're going to have a tough game. We always do against every team in the division. The Browns, we always have these knockdown dragouts with us. So, but if we could get it done, it would be a great accomplishment.
Goal. Yeah. So that is John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens, head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, basically talking about how important it is to have that home playoff game, winning the division, things like that. And, it's crazy because we didn't necessarily know until last night how things were going to shake out in terms of the scheduling. And I know you guys can see the title of the video as we have 170 people watching live. Hello. Thank y'all so much for joining the show.
Hi.
The NFL is basically forcing the Ravens to play their starters in week 18. And I thought that was kind of fun because the Ravens and the Steelers actually play on the same day. They actually both play on Saturday, right? And the Ravens play at 4:30. The Steelers play at 8:30. So if it was the other way around and the Steelers went out there and they lost to the hungry Bengals, who are still scratching and clawing to try to get their way into the playoffs, even though they need a ton of help, right? The Ravens wouldn't have to play starters. They could make the active decision that, hey, we already got the AFC North locked up, 3 seeded locked up. Let's not play these guys. But at the same time, though, I kind of want them to play. I tweeted yesterday, I'm on record saying, like, I want the starters to go out there and play. I think it needs to be all gas, no breaks. At this point, we just had a break back in week 14. We had a week 14 lead bye. So out there and stay hot, man, because we are red hot right now. And I think that we can only build upon what we've been kind of building these past couple of weeks, this past month almost. So what are your thoughts on what Harbaugh said there? What are your thoughts on the scheduling, being the Ravens have to play first before the Steelers to contend for the AFC North? What are your thoughts on all that?
I agree with you. Probably about everything you said. I don't care that we have to play first. I'm happy with the player starters because, we're going to be going into the playoffs like it's a normal game. Nobody's resting. There's going to be no rust. But, if we're speaking logically, there shouldn't be any rust because you have played every single week for the past however many since the bye, which, that's a good thing. And we'll have, just our momentum, keep on rolling down the hill like a big snowball. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger to get out the way. But yeah, I'm happy that we play first, and I'm all for, winning that division. Just feel that first sense of winning, that first sense of achieving something, and then you just go on from there. These players have a lot of pride, and when you look at what we've been through, and you still end the season with an AFC North, championship, I'm all for it. So give it to me. Give me that. Hopefully that win. And, win the AFC North, and then just watch the Bengals and Steelers play. Hopefully the Steelers knocking the Bengals out of the playoff contention right after that. So, yeah, give it to me. And then who knows what happens afterwards. But, yeah, I do like it, and I'm happy with the player starters.
Yeah, me too. Jeremiah says, only thing I like is that it's a standalone game. Yeah, I mean, there's no other football around it at that time. It's basically a primetime game, another one. Honestly, you think about it, the Ravens' last 3 games have been prime games. You think about it. This one on Saturday, of course, the one on Christmas, and the one against the Steelers as well. Of course, the one before that against the Giants was not. That was a 1:00 game. But yeah, those 3 games, all prime time. So maybe the league is also getting the world ready to see the Ravens and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, I feel like, and then the NFL front offices right now. They're not slick. They're not slick. I know exactly what they're doing. Let me see. Deshaun Aick says the Ravens go to the Super Bowl. They should wear the new helmets and new jerseys again. I don't think they'll break them back out. I don't think they will. They're gonna go classic. We got one game at a Ravens. Time. Yeah, I think that they would probably go. I know. What did we wear in 2012?
White. Or in 2000 as well.
White, black, right?
White on black. We're white on white in 2000. Yeah, the white jersey.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All hypotheticals, right? We're gonna take it one game at a time. But I says I'd rather go classic or black. I agree. Okay. So let's get into some scenarios. Let's get into some playoff scenarios. Right? So AFC, there's a lot of parity. It's very, very close between a lot of these teams in the AFC right now in terms of who is going to make it in, who's not going to make it in. I know right now Denver, Miami, right now they're both in contention. Of course, the Bengals are in there as well. I want to show the Bengals though. I want to show the
Yeah.
Bengals kind of path to making it to the playoffs right now because it's very, very slim. Very, very slim. Right. So looking at it here, Cincinnati Bengals are sitting at 8-8. They play the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, 8 p.m. as we know. And how can the Bengals clinch a playoff berth? As you can see, they need to win. They need to beat the Steelers. Then Denver to lose to Kansas City, which is going to be an interesting one because Kansas City has locked up the 1 seed. So I don't think that they're going to play their starters. They haven't came out and said that yet. At least I don't think they have. And Alex, let me know if I'm wrong. But I don't know if they're going to play their starters. It's still possible that they could. Still possible. And we got a Chiefs fan in here, Bill Carson. What's going on, Bill? God bless the Chiefs. What's going on, Bill? Appreciate you for coming through, man. Looking like y'all will probably take an L this week. Maybe Bill, you can let us know. Maybe you got your ear to the streets in KC. Let us know if Andy plans on playing Patrick Mahomes in the starters. Go ahead.
You can knock your rival out, knock the Broncos, and that'd be cool. I mean, with Carson Wentz at quarterback.
Yeah,
I kind of hope that happens.
That's
not
true.
gonna lie.
That's true. That's true. Carson Wentz in a KC jersey is crazy. But listen, Denver needs to lose to Kansas City. And then also on top of that, Miami needs to lose to the Jets. So, I mean, and Miami's playing for something. You know, they're playing for something. As you can see here, they have to beat the Jets. Plus, Denver needs to lose to Kansas City in order for them to get into the playoffs. So, the Bengals' path to victory is looking very, very bleak right now. And I think it really, really rides on, of course, the Steelers game. I don't know if they're going to beat the Steelers. I don't. Again, I mean, here's the thing about the Steelers, because if the Ravens win at 4:00 and the Steelers know that they cannot lock up the AFC North because they've already lost it by that point, are they going to play their starters? Because they've already clinched the playoff spot. What do you think about that?
We have a resident Steeler fan boss in here. My opinion, though, I don't think you should. I feel like you cannot go into the playoffs from a 4-game losing streak. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go in with some type of, you got to experience winning within the past month, within the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
And my thing is too, like, we're the AFC North. I feel like we have enough pride. Like, the Bengals ended our season when they had no business ending our season in 2017. Tyler Boyd had no business taking that, touchdown all the way. SG says here they will want the 5 seed. Yeah, if I'm a Steeler fan, personally, I told Boz this straight up. I said they should hope we win and they win, so they get to play the Texans, the 5 or 4. Because to me, the Texans look the weakest team right now. Maybe in the AFC, like in the playoff picture right now. I mean, the Broncos you could make a case for, but the Texans haven't looked the same in a while. The way they looked against us,
right.
And the Steelers defense is nasty. They didn't look that nasty against the Chiefs, but if they can get locked in, that would be a good matchup for them. But I think you got to win. You definitely got to beat your rival and knock your rival at the playoff picture. I mean, that's sweet.
Yeah. I mean, Steelers on a very bad skid right now. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we say all that to say, it's looking rough for the Bengals to get in. You beat the Steelers, who are going to want to play. They're going to show up to play, right? That's first and foremost. And then you also have to have Denver lose to Kansas City, which is going to be very, very iffy because they probably won't play their starters. They already got the 1 seed, first round bye and all that, home field advantage throughout and all that. Then you have to have Miami lose to the Jets. And we just got done talking about the Jets earlier on the show, man. They look like an absolute joke of a franchise right now. And as a team, I mean, we talked about Aaron Rodgers, how kind of anemic he's been all season long, just nothing doing there at all. So I don't think that they're going to have much to play for. And of course, Miami, they've got something to play for. They win and one other thing bounced away and they're in the playoffs. So every team, it's just not looking good. It's not looking good for the Bengals. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go ahead and move it. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Tyler Huntley ended the Bengals season. I mean, it all comes around full circle, doesn't it? It all comes around. It's looking like Tua's not going to play.
Yeah. No. And shout out to Snoop Huntley. Huntley. Actually had himself a day yesterday, right? I mean, what were the stats? He had 200 something yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 100 something QBR, something like that. He was good.
Yeah, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 115 QBR.
Yeah. Shout out to Snoop Huntley, man. I just never thought
22 for 26.
exactly only four incompletions, man. I mean, we know us Baltimore Ravens fans know what Tyler Snoop Huntley is capable of. You know, like he came in and was very serviceable as a backup, has a Pro Bowl appearance. You know, he's just no Lamar Jackson. It's funny enough because he beat Lamar Jackson in the high school state championship, which that's just so hilarious to me to this day. But yeah, shout out to Snoop Huntley ending ending the season of the Bengals. That's gonna be poetic, very very poetic. Okay, let's go ahead and keep it moving here. Let's see who else kind of jockeying for position in this AFC playoff race here. So you got the Denver Broncos, of course. They just need to win, and they're in. And they have to beat Kansas City. I think they're going to beat Kansas City. Of course, they're playing for everything. Kansas City is playing for nothing, at least right now in this week 18. Or they need the Bengals to lose to Pittsburgh, which is very possible. And they need the Dolphins to lose to the Jets, which I don't think is going to happen, to be honest with you. Yeah. So basically, they got to win. They got to beat the Chiefs. They have to. They're going to be hungry. I know they really, really, really wanted to beat the Bengals on a Saturday night. That one was interesting. Such a good game, back and forth. Some people would even say, you know, Joe Burrow, if he makes the playoffs, he might even deserve MVP. What's your assessment of that?
I can't. I mean, he's definitely in the running. I just can't give it to him up there. That was a hell of a game. I know their defense stopped them, and this might be a bold take from me, but the same coach who onside kicks it in the Super Bowl doesn't go for 2 to get you a playoff spot. You know what I mean? Like, you have a game in hand, you know, next week. I thought you'd go for 2 there. You know, you were toying with Geno Stone in that secondary. I was hoping they go for 2. They did get the stop in overtime, but just after that, they didn't get anything going offensively in that extra period. So, but Marvin Mims, man, talk about putting the team on your back. Double coverage coming down with that catch, unbelievable. That was the afternoon and night game of that Saturday triple header. I was on my feet. 2 fantastic games, fantastic endings, but good on them. Good on the Bengals winning that. So, still hope they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't think that they will make the playoffs. There's just too many things that need to happen. Too many things need to bounce away. Almost 200 people watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for joining this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast. I am your host, Def, with my co-host, Simply AS10. And we are the Purple Rain Podcast. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on X, which I know a lot of you are, maybe consider coming over to YouTube, checking us out on there. We'd appreciate that. Just an overall great game, especially that Denver Broncos and Bengals game. You do bring up a good point. Why not go for 2 on Peyton? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a guy literally onside kick coming out of the half in the Super Bowl of all games, you know, and he'll always be kind of remembered, like kind of infamous for that. So I don't know. I think you should go for it there too. But Marvin Mims, 2 great catches. Of course, there was the bomb from Bo Nix earlier in that game as well. I think it was like almost 70 yards air traveling time for that ball, man. Bo Nix has an absolute cannon. He's got the stones to go with it too. Because to throw that ball in a double coverage like he did with Marvin Mims and put it right where it needed to be. And honestly, I thought that they might have overturned that ball because I don't think he really survived the ground all the way on that catch. But, you know, they gave it to him, and I understood why they gave it to him as well. The NFL, you want that to be a touchdown. You know what I mean? You want this game to go to overtime. You want it to keep going. And it did not disappoint. So, and then we got one last team here, the Miami Dolphins. So the Miami Dolphins, of course, play the Jets. They got to beat the Jets, and they need Denver to lose to Kansas City. So the cards are really in Denver's hands right now because they're the only team that, you know, that's not in the playoffs now, where simply win and you are in, right? And I know they're kicking themselves because it would have been the same situation. They'd have been in the playoffs right now if they'd have beat the Bengals a couple of days ago. But I think that the Broncos are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rest will be history. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, we used to be in these positions, getting in the playoffs, the 6th seed back then with Flacco. Sometimes post Super Bowl, you need this, and this to happen, or we got to win, you know, and if we don't win, somebody else gets in. So it's nice not having to worry about this come week 18. It's very relaxing. Right.
Yeah, very, very relaxing. Listen, drop your questions down below in the comment section, whether you're watching on X, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on Instagram. Drop your questions down below in the comments. We want to go ahead and get some of those answered for you guys here on this episode 288 of PRP. Let me see. SG says, I would have preferred the Dolphins to be eliminated already so we can get Calais Campbell. I talked about this the other day on an episode of Sudden Thoughts, man. I was really hoping. I was kind of hate watching the Dolphins yesterday, right? Just low key, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm just, bro, I need y'all to lose this game. And Calais Campbell was making plays too. He was making plays. And I'm just like, man, you know what? Even if the Dolphins were to lose this game, I don't think that the Ravens were a high enough waiver priority to even go out and get him. I think somebody else would grab him, to be honest with you. But I do know that Calais Campbell, if he had his pick on which playoff team he would want to go to for his last ride, I have no doubt in my mind he would pick the Baltimore Ravens and come on back to Baltimore and help us out, man. And it would be awesome to kind of stick him in on that defensive line. Of course, we've got guys who've been performing all year. Nnamdi Madubuike, Broderick Washington, Travis Jones, the likes of those guys, right? And I that putting Calais Campbell back there, it would throw a wrench in offense's game plans. Why? Because I remember when Calais Campbell was here, since he's so tall, he's up and he bats down a lot of balls, right? That's one of his specialties, right? He was good at blocking field goals for that same reason. He's so tall, he's so long. He's basically like a monster on the defensive line, quite literally. So that's one reason I would love to have him back, especially if you got quarterbacks that we're going to be playing who love to throw over the middle in the playoffs, right? And just having that guy just getting his paws up, swatting stuff down would have been great to be a great addition to this team. But again, shout out to Calais Campbell, man, because at this age, still making plays like the way he is, I think he absolutely deserves, if the Dolphins get eliminated, to go to a contender. He deserves that, you know? So it's just, I don't know. Shout out to him.
Yeah. He was wrecking the game yesterday. Big plays.
Yeah. Let me see. Dylan with the first question here says, will Jahmyr Gibbs score 14.5 fantasy points tonight to win my fantasy championship? It's funny because I have Jahmyr Gibbs in my fantasy championship too, Dylan. And I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the over on Jahmyr Gibbs. What about you?
He's gonna have 8 points in the first quarter. Is what I'm gonna tell you this right now. Whether it be some receptions or a touchdown, I think for you'll win your championship in the first half. That's my bold prediction. He'll have that 14.5 in the first half.
Yeah, nice. You heard it here first. Okay, let me see. And also make sure you drop your questions down below in the comment section as well. We like to start a conversation in the comment section too. Make sure you drop your questions down below there too. Long Gaze Productions in the house. Mod Long Gaze Productions to you. Says, as Ravens fans, we have to keep our expectations low to not be disappointed again. And this is kind of Alex's whole thing. This has been his whole thing like all season long, right?
I'm this chill guy. I'm just chilling,
this is chill.
I'm here for the journey. What's more important, the destination or the journey? And for me, it's the journey. It's enjoying the ride along the way. This season, it started off real low. 2 losses. And then we had a little bit of a blip, a little high, the win against Cowboys. Then it's that defense that'll bring me back down. And, we're kind of getting up here. We're feeling back up here. And I'm like, you know what? Like, defense is getting me up there. And I'm not ready for that drop yet. It's still higher to go. So until then, I'm chilling along the way.
Yeah. I agree with you there. It does feel like we're starting to get on the same page, kind of fire on all cylinders. We're not playing whack-a-mole right now. That we're not getting one problem under wraps and then another one pops up out of the ground. That's not happening right now. Defense is playing really well. Offense is playing really well. Special teams is doing well. And hopefully we can keep this going in playoffs. It seems like we're peaking at the right time. I wanted to ask you this, though. I believe it is the Texans, Chargers, and Steelers, the 3 possible teams that we're pretty much locked into playing in the first round of the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that being, I know you were saying that last week on the show, you were saying that you want to go through the gauntlet, right? You want to beat everybody who's anybody. Which one of those teams would you want to start with? Because you can start with Chargers and kind of avenge the 2018 loss from Lamar Jackson's rookie season, or you could go with the Steelers and knock off your longtime rival in the first round and kind of get that out of the way. Of course, we've already the Texans. That would still be a good game in itself, but which one of those teams would you prefer to face?
Chargers. Chargers. To me, it starts off from his rookie year. Chargers, then Bills, and now we're in 2020. Chiefs, now we're in the last year. It's like a video game where you're fighting literally every demon, starting from when you first began your career up to now. So yeah, I would like the Chargers. I feel like we match up pretty good with them. I would like us stopping their run. I know they were having their way, but I think our defense has gotten a lot better since we've played them. And now their corner went down yesterday. They got him from the Titans. I forget his name, slipped in my head, but they're getting banged up now. And I like our passing against their pass defense. So I think we could definitely deal with them. So yeah, I think the Chargers I'd take, honestly.
Yeah, I do like that as well. I do like that. I feel like in terms of like difficulty level, if I had to rank those three teams, I would probably go Steelers, Chargers, and Texans. I'd have to go in that order there. In terms of who I want, I don't know, man. I think I would want the Steelers. I said last week that the Harbaugh Bowl would be great and everything, but I getting the Steelers out of the way in the playoffs. I don't even remember the last time we beat the Steelers in the playoffs. It's been a long time.
2014.
Right. Yeah, it's been a minute. So yeah, a whole decade. I would love to see that again, kind of really put the stamp and put the seal back on this rivalry as a rivalry, right? Because we've won 2 out of the last 10 matchups. So how sweet would it be to get a playoff victory over this team to really kind of shut that fan base up? And Boz, I'm not talking directly to you. You're cool, but there's a lot of people in the Steelers fan base that I know personally, right, who need some humbling. They need some good old humble pie. So I mean, in terms of who I would prefer to face and kind of get those demons out of the way, I would. And Boz is saying, yes, you are talking about me. No, I'm not, man. But I would like to see my Ravens beat up on your Steelers in the wild card. I'm just saying. Just a chill guy who likes football. That's all. That's just me. Listen. Go ahead. We got another question. This one's coming from Brian De Rosa. Says higher probability of Arsenal winning the league or Ravens getting the Super Bowl. Alex, take it away.
I'm not going to say what I want to happen because I would get crucified, but Ravens in the Super Bowl is a more probable thing, I'd say, considering this team just lost their best player for 2 to 3 months, hamstring surgery. So you know what? I'm just going to chill. Bukayo Saka, my son Bukayo, 21 years old, fucking unreal. Rumors are hamstring came off the bone. I don't think it did because it will be a lot worse in 2 or 3 months. But yeah, I'm going Ravens win the Super Bowl. As much as I want to see the Arsenal winning the league, and the fact that they were this close last year, I still think the Ravens. Yeah, I saw my 2 favorite teams both miss out on a trophy just by that much in the span of 3 months last year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
That one. Yeah, that one hurt. That one, I've been put through some pain, but yeah, I think the Ravens have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than the Arsenal winning the league this year.
Okay. All right. I mean, hey, look. I hope we win it too, man. I hope we win it too. One game at a time. One game at a time, Brian.
I need a trophy. I just want a trophy. Let me get something.
Yeah. Let me see. We got SG bringing up a comment here. It says, rest in peace to Greg Gumbel. So many legendary calls. The Mile High Miracle and Tucker field goal. He will be missed. Yes. Rest in power to Greg Gumbel. Just a legend of the sport. And when it comes to announcing and calling games, man, a recognizable face, even at that. There's a lot of guys who games in this league who you don't know what they look like. If you pass them on the street, you just would not know. But Greg Gumbel's been around for so long. He's had so many legendary calls, been on TV so much. You've seen him probably. I know I have personally growing up, seeing him on TV, calling games and whatnot. He's a legend. Just can't say much more about him and rest in peace.
Yeah, it was always him and Dan Dierdorf on those big playoff games. I feel like we always had, and then it would be Phil Simms and Nance, like the Brady of Mannings, and it'd be us and the Steelers just damn near killing each other. Gumbel and Dierdorf on the call. It was that was a time.
What a time. What a time, man. Okay. So I think we're going to go ahead and leave question segment there in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank y'all so much for coming through again. We still got over 200 people watching live. Make sure you like the video before you get out of here. Subscribe to the channel as well. And again, X, give us a follow. Give Alex a follow. Simply AS10. Go on YouTube. Purple Rain podcast. We do this every Monday, every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about our Ravens. And of course, there's more content sprinkled in there throughout the week as well. So make sure you check us out there on YouTube if you're watching on X. And a lot of you are again. So again, my name is Steph. You can follow me on X or Instagram at Sutton Def, like you see down below. His name is Simply AS10. You can find him on X at Simply AS10, on Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. You can find us together on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. And like he led the episode with, Manscaped is our sponsor. You can go on Manscaped, get whatever you want off the website, right? Stack your cart high to the sky and put in our code PRP at checkout to get yourself 20% off plus free international shipping. Yes. And like Alex said at the beginning of the episode, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys for rocking out with us. This is the last episode of 2024. So next time you see us, we'll be saying hello to 2025 and hello to the playoffs here soon. So make sure you stay tuned to the Purple Rain podcast. We've got a lot of good content coming out for you. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
I'll say it again on Thursday, but enjoy this weekend of, honestly, like, to me, stress-free football, because next week, playoffs, stress, win or go home.
Yeah.
Week after that,
Yeah.
divisional, win or go home. Week after that, conference championship. 2 weeks after that, Super Bowl. So I'm going to try to enjoy this game as much as I can, because I know once this week is over, the next 60 minutes of football could be our last, so I'm already getting nervous thinking about it now, but I'm definitely going to try to just enjoy this game on Saturday, and I'll say it again on Thursday. But yeah, enjoy the football for this week. Last stress-free. That's all I got. Thank you for coming through to episode 288 of the Purple Rain podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. As always, stay positive, test negative.
Yes. Never, ever forget, even on the rainiest days, call God. Episode 288 of PR. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.